Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you my bow tie box. I saw something very similar on Pinterest and I had a go and it didn't quite look anything like the one on Pinterest, but it is a kind of bow shape. And I was quite pleased with it, to be honest, because it did take me a couple of hours to figure it out. Now I did only actually make it yesterday, so please bear with me when I make it up today, because I'm sure there'll be one or two bits where I end up scratching my head because they're quite complex directions or instructions, if you like, for this one. But yeah, and the only thing I did realise afterwards was that I've not scored this paper in the right place. So when you go to put your treats in, it doesn't really give a great deal. But you could put your sweets in first. Or you can just slide them through, either way. But yeah, how cute is it? So it's a little bit like a picnic hamper. This top side opens up and you can just pop your treats inside. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. So let's have a go, shall we? So for the base part of your box, you will need a piece of cardstock that is 4 by 6.5. I haven't done centimetres, as I'm sure you can appreciate. It took me so long to do this anyway that I thought I'm not even going down there. It'll take me hours. So I'm just going to use my trimmer just because it's here, it's next to me and it's easy. So on the long side, we're going to score at 1 inch and 5.5, or you can just rotate and score 1 inch on the other side. Okay, then we need to, this is where I get confused now because I'm trying to read my notes. These are my notes. So yeah, as you can appreciate, they're quite detailed. So you're going to need a ruler and your scoring tool, that is a definite. Okay, so on the short side, on these score lines, we're going to score at 1 inch, or sorry, we're going to mark at 1 inch and 3 inches. I'm going to do the same on the other side here. So 1 and 3. And then you need to find the centre point of your card. Now I'm doing it between the score lines because it actually makes it easier. So 4.5 is going to be 2.25 for me, and I want to mark 1/4 either side, so I'm going to mark at 2 and 2.5, and then I'm going to do exactly the same the other side, so I'm marking at 2 and 2.5. I do apologise, I'm having to read my notes here. Okay, so score then these 2 points together. Like I said, I only did this yesterday, so it's not as easy as doing a box and marking and scoring all the sides at 4 or anything. It's a bit more involved than that. Okay, so once we've done that, we are then going to mark these centre score lines. So we're going to mark at 1/2 inch, 1.5, 2.5 and 3.5, and then the same on the other side. So 1/2 inch, 1.5, 2.5 and 3.5. Okay, so you should now have, if you can see, dots along here and 2 up there. So the first score line here that the first mark that we made at 1/2 inch here is going to be scored across to the top of this score line. So you're just meeting the edge of the paper, and then the next one will meet that mark. Okay, same again this side, so your farthest is going to that corner and this one is meeting up with that one. Again, repeat on the other side. So we're going going to score. It will almost look a little bit like the English flag when you've finished. That's what I thought anyway when I did it. Okay, so that's that part. Then from this second mark here, so as you can see, look, English flag a little bit. So from this mark here, we're going to just go across like that. Same again on this one. Okay, so you need to do some cutting. So you should have this kind of shape now. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to cut just down those pieces that we just did, and then cut the wedges, so we're creating our tabs. Okay, same again here. Okay, so you've done those parts there, and then we need to cut away these very thin angles at the tops here. So I'm literally just going to go all the way down, across and out to that one, and then again this side, down to there, across and up there. So you should now have this shape left, and then we can do some folding and burnishing here. So the straight ones are easy enough to do. Just do these tabs here and then just open those out to do that part there, and then we're just going to give these just the idea of where they're going. So you can already see here now how this is going to work, but we need to just cut these parts here to make it fit. Now I've actually not written down sensibly how I did this bit, so we're going to cut these parts away just down to those score lines. I'm just going to fold that up, and you can actually get your bone folder in there now and give those a crease. Okay, and then once they're folded out of the way, you can just cut those out. Okay, so to create this, and as you say, this now is obviously taking its shape. We pop these bits in here. You can see the sort of bottom part starting to take effect. So I'm going to pop some adhesive on my tabs here and just build this piece up. Okay, so we'll pop these just like a normal box. We'll just pop in these side bits together. Okay, taking shape, we're doing well so far. So the next part then is our centre strip that will wrap around. So this is 6 by 1 1/4. So I want to find the centre point, which is about there, and this will be underneath, so it's fine. So once I've found that centre point, in fact, ignore me completely. I need to mark, so it's the centre is 6, so I want, the centre is going to be 3, sorry. So I want to go 1/2 inch that way, and then 1/2 inch, but with a fraction more. Okay, so I've actually made this 1 1/4. So it's not quite central, but that's fine because you don't need it to be. So fold and burnish those parts there, and then this will sit just underneath there, so these will fold up. Now you'll notice when you fold these pieces up that it's hard to show you really here, that your side panels here are going to be at an angle. That's fine, just obviously make sure when you do it that you've got your base in the centre so that you've got enough card, because if you go too far one way, when you come to a deer you'll have nothing left. So that's roughly in the centre. So what I'm going to do here is just make sure this stays flat, because this has a tendency to curl up, and obviously you won't get a true reading then. So keeping this centre part flat, I'm eyeballing and gauging where my top needs to fold over. No crazy measurements, just because I find it I find it hard to try and work out the measurements, so I'm going with that option. So now put this back on the centre. This will fold over the top here, this one will fold over here, and that is where I put it, your centre band fits in. So I'm going to put some Seal Plus on that bottom part there, and then pop this in place. Just make sure it's level, it's square, it's central. Okay, and then I've got my little mini pegs here, which I need 4 of, and my wet glue. And all I'm going to do here is add a very fine line to the sides there. Fold your piece up, and then with your pegs we're going to hold it in place whilst the adhesive does its job. So same again here, strip of glue up there, make sure that it all sits flat, and then peg on there and a peg on there, and that will now be left to dry while we do our DSP. So this is the interesting part, because this took me a while, and although I had a template for this one, I haven't got one for this, so this might be a rolling with it. Okay, so DSP needs to be 3 by 4 7/8. Fold the long side in half just to find the centre point, which is just there. Okay, my brain is just not working today at all. So I think, as I can't remember, as I said, I only made it yesterday, we're going to fold this and score it in half, because we need to, and then on your centre mark, I'm just going to check what my crumbs, I should have picked a better pattern, shouldn't I, than lines. Right, okay, so find the centre line, and then you're going to mark at 1/4 and 3/4 of an inch. That's right. And then we're going to go from that mark, the quarter mark, up to the outside corner. Then we're going to mark this corner 1/2 an inch down, and then we're going to score the diagonals there. Repeat the other side, so 1/4 and 3/4. The quarter goes right to the edge, and then mark 1/2 an inch down there. That one goes to there. Rotate, mark the 1/2 mark there and the 1/2 mark there. Corner to the top, mark to the mark, and the same again here. That one to there, and that one to there. Okay, right. Then we need to cut away the smaller of them, as we did with the cardstock. And the same this side. It's really hard to see on this paper. I should have chose a plain one. Okay. Then we're going to fold these angles just here, and then we're going to take a little wedge out of the centre, and then we're going to fold this side here, take a little wedge out of the centre, in with my bone folder now, and just give those a nice crease. And then the bit that took me so long to figure out, but that was so simple, cut a wedge out of your corners here. I've been using Poppy Parade today. Been making some cards earlier, and yes, I got it everywhere. But I had fun, and that's the main part. So you should now have something that looks like this. And if all has gone to plan, this should now, minus the pegs, sit nicely in here. Woohoo! Yes, we did it! Right, so the next stage here, and I've slightly messed that score line up there, so I'm just going to readjust that. Right, so what we then do here is I'm going to add some tape onto here, onto this side. It doesn't matter which side, you can choose either or. Okay, then I'm going to pop my lid, if you like, inside, in place. And then I love this bone folder underneath. Hold it all the way across if you wish, so it acts almost as a bridge, but not quite, because it will make it bow upwards. And then when you've finished fiddling and getting it where you need it to be, lay it down and then press against your bone folder, because that will hold that in place. Clever or what? So same again on this side now, just adding a bit more of my Seal Plus. Just make sure that obviously these bits of card now line up, which I probably didn't do with that first piece, but again just using my bone folder inside to press against. That is the basis of your bow tie box, and then you just need to decorate it. So I have Night of Navy, yes. It's so similar in some ways to Misty Moonlight, but I still love it. Okay, so Misty Moonlight, handsomely suited, little dicky bow. I think it's just so cute. Just this one here. I'll pop that on my C block, and I'm just going to stamp him that way. And then that's not got any stamping mist on, has it at all? Let's try again. That's better. So once I've done that, I'm going to pop that away and get my little You're the Best sentiment out as well. Excuse me. And pop that end. Not actually very straight, is it? But it's okay. Then I have my, oh, let's put this away, shall we? It's probably sensible. Then I have my lovely suit and tie dyes here and my dicky bow. And just move him out of the way. My little mini. I love this so much. How much easier is it for me now just to bring this in? There's no heaving and huffing to bring this on anymore. It's just fabulous. Right, now earlier on today I was die cutting some images to put on a card, and I was getting really frustrated because I had to try and line this up, and every time I let go it didn't move in terms of how our Big Shot used to shift, but every time I just sort of let go it moved. So I figured something out and I felt really proud of myself. Now I know you can buy the not so sticky tape to hold things down, but even I found that sometimes did tear at the paper or the card. So I went with a post-it note, which I thought was just divine. So once I've got my image as I want it, I just used my post-it note to hold it in place, because then when you're trying to put this on top and hold it straight and shift it about, that's not moving. Genius, because this is so thin it's irrelevant. I was so pleased with that. Oh, honestly, I can't even begin to tell you. So, little tip, I don't know if you've seen Sarah's tips, Sarah Douglas, our CEO of Stampin' Up! Or anything, do this, but basically these mini, you kind of have to do it offset. It makes it a lot easier, and you feed it through and you just sort of start it. So if you can see here, I'm just sort of feeding it with my right hand, getting this going with my left, and then once I feel it take, then obviously I can just spin it through. And even happy days. Just look at this. Let's get that out of the way. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. And there we have that. Beautiful. Oh, so happy. Okay, so everything's twisted and gone crazy. Right, I got my, when I can find it, is that it? Right, Misty Moonlight. Did I use Misty Moonlight? I can't even remember. Light Misty Moonlight Stampin' Blend. And honestly, I just coloured it in. I didn't shade, I didn't go to any particular effort. I literally just coloured it in. Just because I didn't want too much white, I felt it was a little plain. But there we go. That's that bit coloured in. And then I just added a dimensional on the back. Did I use a full-sized one? Well, we're going to have to go with it on either side then. So my bow tie just sits on the top there. And then my little sentiment, which I just need to make sure is straight, because it really isn't. So I'm gonna hope that makes it straight, and then this side need to just make sure that's straight too. That's not even remotely straight, is it? Crikey. Alright, let's trim that off. I'm really rubbish at this, honestly, guys. Then that. Right, let's get that out of the way. I need to just tidy that up a little. And then you know me, I just get some adhesive on here, pop it on to some navy cardstock there, and then yes, I am using my scissors just to put the backing on here, and then again just some adhesive on there, and that will hide the join that you have here, which I think is genius. And then if you need to, again, you just pop that bone folder inside, and there you have it. There is, I think I used Night of Navy actually, never mind, but there you have it. There is your bow tie box. Hope you like it. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.